Hello horse friends, and welcome to the Imperfect Equestrian. Today I'm going to be showing you how I like to do my figure eight with JJ, and also give you some simple steps so you can have a go at recreating this task at home. So let's have some fun and just see what we can do with it.
You look so beautiful, and I'm so lucky to be yours. And you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. I'm not coming down. Ain't nobody like you. I could go 1,000 miles as long as I'm with you. Yeah, you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you.
So before we even begin our figure eight, I need to just checklist some things to make sure that JJ understands. So it would be helpful if she can move away from my intention instead of me having to touch her. So I'm going to see if me applying some pressure in the air near to her front end makes her turn away from me, because that's going to be helpful. Let's try. So I use either my stick or my hands in a rhythmic pressure in the air, and hopefully she'll move away from me. Good girl. Little treat for that. Let's try it on the other side. So I'm applying pressure towards her nose and her neck or her shoulder. That's very good. She's moved away from me. That's going to be useful because when I do the figure eight, I want it to turn away from me to be able to go around the cone. So another thing I need to test is if I can send her away from me and also bring her back towards me. So we're thinking like a circle or a half circle or something along those lines. So let's go try that. So in order to get a circle, I don't want JJ right by me. So I'm going to use the same kind of pressure that I used before to make her go backwards away from me. Now, if you're trying to put pressure in the air and your horse isn't moving away, then you need to start getting closer to your horse until you actually tap them. Okay, today we're going to be making her go backwards, and I'm going to use pressure with a stick towards her chest. So we'll try with the air first and see if she can move backwards. Very good, JJ. So if she hadn't moved then, I would have just lifted the stick to tap her chest a little bit until she got the idea. Good girl. So now she's away, we can do a little bit of a circle. So I want her, when I say send, I mean I want her to go left or right, wherever I instruct her. So I'm going to put some pressure with the rope, and if she doesn't turn, you remember we put pressure towards the nose to make her turn? I can use my stick to turn her head, and then if she does turn, I can put pressure behind her to make her go forward. So let's give that a go. First of all, I lead with the rope, and then I'll wave if I need to. Oh, she already understands. That's very good. So now she's going in a circle. I need to see if she can come back to me. So I put a little pressure on, and I also turn towards her bum bit. There we are, good girl. It's very important that your horse is happy to come back to you. If they're not happy to come back to you, it's going to make the figure eight a very difficult task. So I'm going to try and send her the opposite way, because with the figure eight, we need to go both ways. So let's try that. First of all, I back her out. And then I'm going to put pressure on the rope the direction I want it to go. And if she doesn't move, I should put pressure with my stick in the air. Good girl. And can she come back in this direction? Good girl. So now we have some simple elements towards the figure eight. So I've got two cones here to start the figure eight, but we're not going to do the figure eight straight away. I'm simply going to introduce her to the idea of going around one of the cones and then coming back to me. Back her out again. Doesn't need to go far away from me to start with. And send her off. We'll go around this cone. And can she come back to me? Good girl. So now we've started to introduce the idea of going around an object. To start with, don't make it too complicated. Just do some circles and come back in from around a cone. So let's try that the other way. Back out. Good girl. So I send around. So we're just doing a normal circle until we find a cone. There we are. Good girl. So far, you've noticed that as I sent her on a circle, I've just not worried about where she's been turning, only that she goes around the cone and comes back towards me. But if you think about it, she won't be able to do a figure eight that way, because if she comes back in the middle, she'd have to turn back on herself to come back towards me and the rope would get tangled. So we need to be thinking of the shape we're going to be using. So ideally, she would go through the middle of the cones, turn around the outside of the cone towards me, and then go back through the middle to turn around the outside of the cone towards me again. So this means that we can always have the rope attached to her and it's easier to maneuver her. It seems like a complicated shape, but when we break it down, all it really is sending her and bringing her back to us, and then sending her again and bringing her back to us, once in each direction. So to make that a little bit clearer, we're now going to send her just around the cone and bring her back, but in the right direction. So she'll go through the middle and then she'll come back to us. So I send her back again, a little bit. Oh, good girl. That'll do. It's not quite right, but it's fine. She goes around the cone and comes back to us. There we are. So we're starting to get the shape now. I don't even need to really send her away now. I'm just going to send her through the middle of the cones. Push her head away. Ask her to go forwards. She's going around, almost like a circle, and then bring her back. There we go. Good girl. So we just join those together now, and we'll get a flowing figure eight. It's a little bit fiddly with the rope and the stick changing hands, but just take it slow and do it to walk to start with, and you'll be fine. So send her, push her head round. Doesn't matter that it was close and slow at the minute. Bring her back towards us. Lead the direction, push her head again. Ask her to walk forward. And bring her back in. Good girl. So there we have it. There's our first figure eight. So that's just a really basic figure eight where we've literally walked with her and we've gone around the cone and we've just changed direction. So just build it up slowly, and once you get the shape going, you can become more adventurous with things and you can speed up as well. Do it in trot, do it in canter even. Just remember, when you start going faster, it's a little bit more for them to think about. So maybe try and do a couple of circles and just do the one turn to start with so they can understand where their feet are going to go and they don't start tripping over themselves. And also, don't forget, if you're going at a faster speed, you might need to make the cones a little bit wider as well. Let's try a trot. Ready? Good girl. Remember to swap hands. Push her. Swap hands again. Ooh, excited than she is. And come back. Good girl. Well done. So one of the ways we can make a figure eight a little more interesting is we can use different obstacles to do the figure eight with. So here I've swapped out to some bigger barrels. They're set a bit further apart, so she has to think more about where she's going. And I've got a bit longer line to help her get around them. We're not going to be going fast, but we're going to see if she can figure it out with the blue barrels. Back, 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 back. Good girl. Go on then. Good girl. Get the ropes over. Oh, we nearly had that one down. Push her through. Ropes over. Good girl. Good girl. Keep the motivation going when she's a bit further away. It's a little harder. Come on. Good girl. Again. Good girl. Whee! Good girl. Very good. Well, that was fun. Let's look at another way we can have fun with a figure eight pattern. I've set up 4 cones around me. We can have some fun. We can either circle around them, or I could pick this pair to do a figure 8 round, or that pair to do a figure 8 round, or even one of those pairs. You get the idea. So let's just have a bit of fun with that and see how she goes. Round the cone she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows. Well, I do. I'm going to pull her in there, take her around there, pull her in again, and send her back out in a circle. Good girl. So maybe this time we'll do this one. Pull her in. Oh, send her around, push that nose. Good girl. Round again. So now we're making circles more interesting, because she doesn't know when she's going to be circling, and she doesn't know when she's going to be doing a figure 8. So here, turn, gone out, good girl. Out we go. Another one, here, good girl. Turn, she's like, is that it? I'm like, no. Good girl. There we are. Now we could also get interesting and come inside that cone, and then outside this cone, and then do a figure 8. Good girl. And maybe then we'll go round there, inside this cone, outside that cone, and round. So you just really need to use your imagination, and it keeps things a bit interesting for them. Good girl. Good girl. Come on. That'll do. Well done, darling. So another fun thing we could do with figure 8 is have a pole between the cones. So as they go round, they have to watch where they're putting their feet. Here's a little pole. Let's have a go. So I send around, and then I ignore the fact that the pole's there and just treat it like a normal figure 8. There you are. You see how she really paid attention, and she was really like, what is this new thing in the way? Good girl. And of course you could raise it, and it could also be done at trot and canter. Good girl. Now, ideally, eventually, I wouldn't be moving my body so much, but for now, it's just helping her to understand where to go. Just to finish off, and for fun, I'm going to see if she'll do this at liberty. She may not. We'll find out. Good girl, JJ. Good girl. Go through. Go around. Come back. Good girl. Good girl. Go through. Good girl. Come back. Well, I think that was a really good one. Obviously, not all figure 8s are done on the ground. You can do them when riding as well. But I think we've covered quite a few ideas today, so perhaps we'll do that another day. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share our channel with your friends. So from JJ and I, we'll see you again next time. Bye!